They're going to build a wall, folks. It's taller and taller every year, doesn't it? Taller and taller. And I won't put you through the exercise. I'll tell you myself, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. You know, when I was on the stage not so long ago with some of the very good people, very talented people, some of the Republican candidates, and we were fighting over different things. You know, it's pretty vicious, they say, right? They say it was pretty vicious. They say it was the most vicious yet. Okay, the most vicious. That's not a good thing, but it's the way it is. Some people still haven't recovered, okay? But, well, I think this is more vicious because the press is more dishonest now than I've ever seen. Yeah. So I actually think this is more vicious. But, I'd have people come up to me, good people, politicians, they come up to me, you don't really mean, you know, after the debate, they say, you don't really mean we're going to build a wall, do you? I said, yeah. And they'd say, how do you do that? Well, we could start with precast planks, right? I'm so good at building. I'm so good at building. You know, we're building the old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue, right? We're 1 year, and we're actually more than that, but that's okay. We're 1 year ahead of schedule, significantly under budget, and the deal is a much more beautiful deal than we even envisioned. Higher quality materials, marbles, and I just left the place, a great place. I won't mention because it's a great city. Love the city. I was there 2 days ago. They have a hospital, a veterans hospital, that's $1.2 billion over budget. think of it. $1.2 billion over budget. It's not even that big a hospital. I looked at the building. I said, 1.2 billion? They should build it for 1/3 of that, let alone. This is over budget, and that means it's going to be much higher than that. So we're going to put things in place. There are ways of building roads, bridges, hospitals, airports. You don't have to have cost overruns. We have massive cost overruns, and we have to rebuild our country. Our roads are old and tired. I have a friend who's in the trucking business. He's one of the biggest guys in the trucking business. Good guy. And he said, Donald, is there anything we can do about the roads? I said, why? What's the problem? He said, there are so many bad spots. They call them bad spots. I call them potholes, right? He said, there are so many bad spots. And this guy has this incredible equipment, these beautiful trucks, the best. He said, I'm destroying my equipment. We're going down those highways at 60 miles an hour, and we're hitting areas that just destroy these trucks. I say, have you ever seen it like that? He said, I've been doing this business for 40 years. It's never, ever been like this, okay? We are going to shovel ready. He said, shovel. Shovel ready. Another Obama beauty. Shovel ready. Let's spend $1 trillion. We're shovel ready. I don't know, has any job been built? You know, shovel ready, another Obama beauty. But he said that. I have another friend. Okay, I have a lot of friends. I have another friend. He builds plants, right? Not the kind that grow out of the ground, the kind that are like rectangular and all. Big ones. Big plants, the biggest. And he's just about the biggest in the world. And he builds them in the United States, and he builds them in other countries. And I saw him not so long ago. I said, how are we doing? He said, I'm doing good. Company's good. I said, well, what's going on? Now, if this guy had to build an apartment, he wouldn't know where to begin, right? But a plant to build, 1 million cars a year or whatever the heck they do, he has no problem with that. That's the greatest. He's a great guy. Really talented guy. A brilliant guy and builder. So I said, so how are we doing? He said, not good. I said, how is your business? Great. I said, how does that work? He goes, you got to see what we're building in Mexico. We are building the greatest plants anywhere in the world. We are building plants. It's the 8th wonder of the world, what's going on in Mexico. Now I'm getting angrier and angrier in the meantime. Okay? We are building plants in Mexico. So I said, how are you doing in the United States? Not good. Not good. They're moving out of Michigan. They're moving to Mexico. They're moving out of Jacksonville. Let me tell you, while you're all standing here, and I appreciate you're all standing in seats, but while you're all standing here, as you stand here thinking you have a good job, many of the companies in this area and areas all over our country are negotiating deals with management to move their plants out of the United States. NAFTA was the beginning of a disaster. TPP, which Hillary Clinton considered the gold standard, and then she heard me speaking about it one night, and she said, oh, I'm against it. But she's going to approve it. In fact, the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, who knows Hillary even better than her own husband knows her. He knows her better than her husband. This guy, Terry, winked at people and said, don't worry, TPP is going to be approved if she wins the election. They'll make a couple of changes, meaning like a comma. So this agreement is 5,000 pages long. Nobody's read it from our country. And yet these other countries, killers, they've digested every word, every comma, every sentence, every paragraph, everything. They know it, every single word. We don't have anybody that has even looked at it. Remember Obamacare, 2,500 pages. Do you remember Obamacare when nobody read it? Nobody read it. Obamacare will be repealed and replaced, okay? Nobody read it. Remember that? Not one politician, nobody read it. And you remember the guy that came out of one of the schools, Harvard, Yale, something. Do you remember the guy's a wise guy? And he thought he was in Friends, but they had the little cell phone camera on. He was among friends, but the friend certainly did a number on him. And turned him in, and he was saying it's a whole joke, right? This was the designer of Obamacare. This was the man that sort of created Obamacare. And that's exactly correct. That's Harvey. That's exactly correct. So remember, we tend to forget all this things, but we'll bring them up. But here you have a guy that said it's a phony deal, and yet we keep it. Remember this, on November 1st, new rates are going to come out. They are going to be astronomical. In Texas, going through Blue Cross Blue Shield, they just had an increase of 60%, 60%. New rates are coming out on November 1st. The president wants to have that date delivered after. He wants it to be after, anytime after the election. Because it's election defying. The number that you're going to have to pay for your health insurance is going to be such an increase that it is election changing. Now, maybe I don't want the election changing, maybe I want it to be just the way it is. But it will send ripples through our society. It'll send ripples through our country. We can't let them delay. They want to make that December 1st instead of November 1st. The election is on November 8th. When those numbers come out, it's going to be catastrophic. It's going to fail of its own volition. The country can't afford it, and the people can't afford it. Number one, the country can't. Number two, the people can't. It's got the double whammy. We will come out with something that will be so good, so much less expensive, so much better. It will be wonderful. We're going to take care of everybody. We're going to take care of everybody. So, when it comes to trade, we're going to make great deals. Carl Icahn endorsed me. So many people endorsed me. So many great business people. We're going to make great deals. They're going to be fantastic deals. Right now, we use political hacks to make our deals. We are going to make fantastic trade deals. Our jobs are going to start coming back. We're going to start making things again in this country, okay, folks? We're going to make things in Jacksonville. We're going to make things all over Florida. We're going to make things in Ohio and Pennsylvania. We're going to make things in Michigan. We're going to bring our car companies back. We're going to make Apple iPhones in this country. You watch. And you know what I'm saying, and I don't have to play games. And we're not giving low-interest loans that nobody needs, and we're not giving tax abatements, we're not giving any. We're going to just say, hey, you want to play games and you want to come into this country, or if you want to devalue your currency and destroy our companies, because that's what's happened. These countries are devaluing their currencies and they're destroying, totally destroying our companies and our jobs. And we're not going to let it happen because that's cheating, okay? That's called cheating. That's called cheating. I have friends that are manufacturers, they can't get their product into China, and if they do get it into China, they have a big tax to pay, right? With us, come on in, we're the stupid country, come on in everybody, rob us blind, take our jobs, take our money, rebuild China, and many other places. Not gonna happen, folks. It's not gonna happen. It's over. It's over. We're not going to have trade deficits of $500 billion a year. We're not going to have a trade deficit overall of $800 billion a year and going up, okay? Almost $800 billion trade deficits, okay? Why does that have to happen? Why does that have to happen? So we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're going to bring our manufacturing back. We're going to get you your other jobs. Remember this, one of the reasons that we have these full stadiums, this is beautiful. One of the reasons that we have these full stadiums is because many people in this room do not raise your hand. Do not raise your hand. You've been working harder now than you did 18 years ago. You may